Hi, welcome to Local Matters. I'm your host, Ken Moore, and I'm excited to have with me as my guest today, Cara Copeland. She's the director of A Family Place. I went for an early morning gathering with the Chamber of Commerce to A Family Place where they put on a presentation, and I was thrilled and amazed and actually blown away by what they do there. So I walked up to Cara, the director, and said, please come be on my show, and she said that she would. So, Cara, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ken.
Mike, can we bring up the logo, Family Place? I think a lot of people have seen this around town, but I just want to give them a visual of that. And that was designed by our local ad agency, Dan Hinman.
Dan Hinman, yeah.
Okay, well, all right. Well, Cara, let me just give me an overview. It's called a relief nursery. Can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, so relief nurseries are essentially in communities to help prevent child abuse and to keep families together to prevent foster care. Relief nurseries have been around for 35 years, starting in Eugene, Oregon. And we are one of now 17 relief nurseries across the state. Relief nurseries, I think the beauty of relief nurseries is really that they're driven by the need in the community, and we know that Yamhill County has a rate of child abuse that's 7%, higher than the state average, and that was not acceptable to our community. So that's why we got started a couple of years ago.
Tell me a little bit about how we got started here.
Right. So like I said, relief nurseries have been around for over 30 years, and the word got out, particularly with our judges. Judge Cynthia Easterday was talking to a colleague of hers and found out, we have reduced child abuse in my county by having a relief nursery. Cynthia and some other social service providers, pediatricians, got together and said, what can we do to bring relief nursery services to our county? And it is quite a rigorous process to get a relief nursery certified. There is you can't just raise the money and pop up a relief nursery. The Oregon Association of Relief Nurseries comes out and does a site visit, and part of that is demonstrating need, demonstrating that we have a community that's behind this effort, and that we're not going at this alone.
Well, so Cynthia was kind of raised the standard bearer on this, and I think I know why, because in her courtroom, she probably had a docket of juvenile family cases, and it was right in front of her.
Right.
Some of the very hard things, very difficult situations that are happening in our county.
Yeah.
So she started this process, and I want to just bring up this next graphic, if you would, Mike, our director, Mike Santenay. This, to me, just tells a lot of story in one slide. We have a picture of, maybe we can just describe it. We have it here in front of us. There's an x-ray of 2 3-year-old brains. Here it is on the screen.
Yeah, so this picture shows the scans of 2 3-year-old brains. The one that you see that says extreme neglect, this is the brain of a 3-year-old who has not received the nurturing environment that he deserves. He does not have a consistent caregiver who's responding to his needs, picking him up, reading to him, really doing the things that typically come most naturally to most parents, versus the brain on the left with a normally developing 3-year-old. And this is what compels me to come to work every day, because we know that intervening early matters. It matters in the physical structure of the brain, which then we know has lifelong consequences for children in our community who are later workers in our community. They're students in schools, and we know that we have about 1,000 days, a 1,000-day window to really intervene in the life of a child and that family. And that's the beauty of relief nurseries. We intervene early. We essentially go upstream and prevent what we see, the effects of abuse and neglect and other adverse childhood experiences from impacting that child and that family and essentially our community.
So you find families that are in difficult situations that need some help.
Right.
How do you find those families?
Sure. Well, first of all, we know raising children is stressful under the best of circumstances. Let's be honest about that. But we have families in our community that have additional stresses in the field. We call those risk factors, but I think about the own stresses that I faced as a parent, and I had a community of support around me. I was not struggling with any kind of substance addiction. I did not have domestic violence or child abuse in my past. So there are these families with all of these stressors happening, and some of them come to us. They call us. Just got off the phone with a family who said, "Hey, life is coming unraveled. Help me." You know, I heard my cousin told me that I should call you. So we talked about what was happening. So families come to us. Pediatricians send us referrals. Our judges send us referrals. Patrol officers or parole officers. I had a call from a counselor at a school that said, "Hey, I've got a first grader, but there's siblings here. There's some stuff going on at home. Can you guys reach out?" We have 2 diaper banks and clothing closets in the county, and we're hoping to expand those. And I think that's a good tool for families to come in and get those basic needs met, and then opens that door for us to say, "How's it going?" And then families let us know their situation, and then we decide, do they need a parenting class? We have a variety of parenting classes. Do they need a home visitor, someone who comes into that home every week and works with that family? Or do they need to be a part of our relief nursery, which is like a preschool on steroids? I always like to refer to it. Our therapeutic classroom that really gives relief to parents from that 2-year-old 2 mornings a week, and also as a relief for that young child, that 2-year-old, to be in an environment with consistent caregivers doing the work that they need to do to be ready for kindergarten.
You said early on that this reduces the need for foster care.
Right.
Have you been able to show that, or have you seen that?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, let me just tell you that I've seen that in our own families that we serve here in Yamhill County. Anecdotally, we know, we have worked with families who DHS, the Department of Human Services, has said, "You need help, and we're not sure that you are able to parent, but if you will reach out to some services, namely a family place or other services, we know that you can make it." So we have families that we're working with that we are in there doing parent coaching. We have a young mom who just got a 2-year-old back, and she knew that she was parenting for the first time, and didn't want that child of hers to go back into foster care. We've been serving that child in our relief nursery, working with that mom, really to get the skills to be the mom that she already wants to be, but just doesn't have the tools in her tool belt to do that.
Cara, you've just touched my heart in that we in the community see problems. We see very difficult situations. We see drug addiction. We see a spouse incarcerated.
Right.
We see the effects of abuse on a parent, and then they may or may not bring that into their family. But we don't know what to do.
Right.
And when you talk like this, it's like, these are the people that know what to do, and
Sure.
this is a place that
Yeah.
people can go for that help. And
Yeah.
that's what moved me when I first got
Yeah.
introduced to this program.
Yeah.
So I am passionate about this. As a matter of fact, I went to the fundraiser. You had Champions for Children.
Right.
How'd you do?
Right. We did great. You know, our community, Yamhill County overall, McMinnville, particularly Newburgh, we are a generous community. A community that, you know, we raised over $20,000. It's community members stepping up and saying, this is not okay in my neighborhood and in my community, and I'm willing to be a part of making this a better place to raise children.
I'm excited to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And having you here today, I think, is helping all of us be a part of that, to know more about what's going on in the community. Maybe we could pull up the next slide here. This is just a graphic of some of the organization. Maybe you could just talk about these three things here.
Yeah, right. So Relief Nurseries, we do 3 essential programs. We have the Relief Nursery classroom, which we call our therapeutic early childhood classroom. We create a space intentionally designed for a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, or now a 1-year-old starting next month. We're gonna have 1-year-olds in that room. We serve that family and that child. We also do home visits. So we take parent education into the context of the home and help support parents right there where they live with what they're facing. And then we have a wide variety of parent education classes. There's a parent education website here in Yamhill County where parents can go and find classes. We partner with Head Start. We partner with Chehalem Youth and Family Services, with a lot of organizations that are really helping families. We provide a postpartum depression class for moms, a Make Parenting a Pleasure class. We take our parenting classes to the jail. We take our parenting classes to all of the teen high school programs in our county. We have a parenting class there. Families look different. Families have different situations, but parenting struggles are the same.
I get the sense that you have a lot of courage, that these are difficult situations, but you have the ability, the personality, the wherewithal to step into these situations and feel like you can make a difference, and in fact you are.
Right.
Carol, I'll ask you maybe 2 questions. You can pick which one you want to answer. We don't have much time. What drew you to this work?
Sure.
And what has impacted you since you got there? What surprised you? What have you learned? How have you changed?
Well, I think what drew me to the work is simple. My work before was working with foster care, and I knew that we cannot continue to put children into foster care. That is just a Band-Aid.
So you wanted to go upstream of that
I wanted to
problem.
go upstream. Let's solve this problem in my own community with my own neighbors. Let's strengthen families, one child at a time.
Yeah.
And that's what compels me to come to work every day. It is not easy work. I have a great, very qualified staff who works hard every day providing resources. Over 45 volunteers in our community come and give of their time, give of their resources. It is not me, it is a group effort, and we welcome more, frankly.
Well, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and your staff, the volunteers in this community, and Newburgh has been very generous in being able to organize a nursery in their town.
Right.
And so this is growing throughout the county.
It is.
And I'd like to have you back sometime and talk about some more results in a couple of years after we've had it here a couple more years.
That sounds great.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
Well, thanks for being here. Well, I've learned a lot. I hope you have too. And thanks for watching Local Matters.